Halloween is just around the corner, so today on the Creality Falcon we're going to be making this trick or treat banner behind me. Now you can do this even if you're brand new to lasering, so if you are unsure about how to do a project, I'm going to step you through it from beginning to end. You actually get the file as part of this tutorial, so I'm going to show you how to do it. It's made out of 3mm basswood, which is easily available, or you can get it from the Creality Falcon webpage. So let's get started, and as I said, you'll get the file and everything you need to do this project successfully from beginning to end. So let's get started. When you first turn on your laser, you will hear the fans working and you will have 3 green lights across the front. They are for air, fire and lens. After the initial boot up, you will actually see that first light start to flash red. That is perfectly normal. What will happen is that will turn red and flash until you are doing an actual cut layer on your laser where you have the air assist activated. Now I'm going to be using 30 by 30 centimeter basswood today, so I'm going to pop that in on the honeycomb bed, and I'll be using the focusing tool at the top layer, which is the engraving and cutting thickness of basswood 1 to 3 millimeters, which is that top step there. So what I'll do is I'll move my laser head back and to the right, and I'll loosen these 2 screws on the right hand side and drop it just to touch that focusing tool there, and then tighten those screws and remove the focusing tool. Now I can home my laser, and we'll have a quick look at the file, and then we will actually frame it up on the piece of timber so that you can see it. Here we are now in Lightburn, and I have my Falcon Pro 60 watt set up using the USB, and it is saying here ready, which means it's ready to do the cut or engrave or whatever we send to the machine. So I've opened up the first sheet of the file. As you can see, it's all one color. This whole complete file consists of 3 separate sheets of timber which we are going to be cutting. So it's all set to a red layer. Now you can change these layers along the bottom here. It doesn't matter what color you choose as long as you put your parameters in correctly. So if I come now to the cuts and layers tab here, you can see I have it set on as line. I'm going to pop on the screen now the parameters for the different strengths of the Falcon 2 lasers, so you can see your speed and your power for each of the cuts. I have my output set onto on, show toggled on, and air toggled on. If you do have air assist, it's fantastic because it means you won't need to do sort of any cleanup at all. Your cut will be nice and clean and you won't need to sand it back or do any extra to it. So we have our cuts and layers panel set up. Now going back to the laser tab here, and you can see that I'm all ready to start. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set start from and put it as current position. Now what that means is that where the job will start will be where this little green square is down here. So if you are manually aligning, and our file is quite big, it almost uses up the complete 30 by 30 centimeter sheet. So you can see here it's 27.6 centimeters wide and almost 29 centimeters high. So by popping it here, if I put the laser head just inside the timber on the laser and then I frame it, you should see that the file will fit nice and comfortably inside that piece of timber. So we're going to do that now. So what I'll be doing is pressing frame, and then once we have it aligned, I'll be hitting that start button. So let's go and do that now. Now we're back at the laser, and I'm just going to bring my laser head in to the bottom left hand corner of the timber. Now I'm just putting it inside that corner so that if that is the start of the cut, it is inside the piece of timber. Now I'm going to press frame on the laser, and I'm just going to make sure that my cut is inside that piece of timber. Now it's just slightly off to the right hand side, so I'm just going to adjust it left a little bit, and I'm going to frame again. Now I have my laser set to low power fire, so it has a little red dot where that laser head is, and I can see it there. So I'm just going to bring it forward just a little bit because it was very close to the end, and just frame it one more time. Now, because I have the Pro, I actually do have a camera which is amazing at lining this up, but I thought I would do it the manual way today so you can see how simply you can use a Falcon and line up your piece of timber. So now I'm going to close the laser door and we're ready to hit start on our cut. Just going to zoom in a little bit there so you can see how nicely those cuts have come out. They're absolutely perfect. So I'm going to move the laser head out of the way. We'll take that one out and we will align our second piece of timber. I'm now going to place our second piece of timber in on the honeycomb bed and just repeat that framing again. So I'm bringing that laser head forwards inside that bottom left-hand corner, and I'm just going to test the framing. Frame that once more. Perfect. And we're ready to go. Another perfect cut, and so we're ready to do our third sheet. The third sheet is complete. All three of my laser sheets are now cut and all the timber is looking fantastic. Now, you may have noticed when I took the second sheet out that trick or treat remained in there. The reason for that is I've cut some little tabs just to keep it inside of that timber framing. So I'm going to spray these actually a different color to the rest. So I'm going to be using a paintbrush and acrylic paints for the rest of the project, but I will spray paint these. It just helps it keep it nice and clean. It won't get on the edges. So I'm going to start decorating now. You can basically decorate any colors that you like to go in with your Halloween theme, but I'm going to be using a lot of blacks, whites and neutral colors, and then a really bright orange for the actual pumpkins. So let's get started. All of the pieces are now drying, so I've just popped them on a clean piece of backing paper just so that they don't stick as they're drying, and the white pieces are outside because I've sprayed them outdoors. So I'm going to wait for these to dry and then we're going to pop the banner together. All of my pieces are now dry. They've been lacquered in a satin sheen and they are looking good. So I'm going to assemble them now using a wood glue. Now there's a few different options you can use. You can use the straight timber glue that will bond timber onto timber, and you can use spray adhesive, or you can pre-apply the 3M tape to your timber prior to doing the cut. Now, if you use 3M adhesive, you don't have to adjust in your cut settings. You just cut as normal and then peel and stick. So I'm going to use some timber glue now and pop this together. So I'm going to do a close up so you can see it. Let's get this banner together and see what it looks like. Because the witch cutouts are sort of an unusual shape, I'm just going to use a paintbrush in my Gorilla wood glue that I've got here and just paint it onto the back. Now going to clamp these pieces down so that they dry nice and firmly, and then we can come back and put our thread through each of the bunting pieces. depending on how you want to hang your bunting, you may want it all in one piece. I'm going to hang it as 3 separate pieces like this. So I'm going to tie these 3 pieces of string together on each side and hang it up so we can look at the finished product. I've just for the moment hung the banner behind me so that I can then move it into my home as part of my Halloween decorations. I'm really loving the way it came out. I'd love to see what you do with different colours and different interpretations of the file. If you haven't done so already, please download the file from either Creality Falcon or myself, the Crafty Socialite. Thanks again for watching, and thanks to Creality Falcon for sponsoring today's tutorial. Until next time, I'll see you then.